Hey everybody, it's CG. I am sitting in Andy's shop. Andy is out of the hospital. He is kind of tired, so he's resting at the moment. But give you an update on what's going on. He was released from the hospital today, but it is far from over. And I apologize for the lighting. I know there's a bright light right behind me. Let me see if I can tilt the camera a little bit for you. That doesn't work either. I guess we're just going to do with what we do. Anyway, excuse me. I've been talking to his mama and my throat is parched. He is not out of danger by any means. He is going to have a pretty major surgery. We're going to have to go to Nashville for it. There is not a surgeon here in Jackson that can perform this surgery. He needs the level of surgeon that would be capable of performing a liver transplant if he had to. That's the level surgeon he's going to need. What apparently is going on is scar tissue, and it's built up to where it has narrowed the entrance into his small intestines just below the duodenum, as well as going into his pancreas. They tried to run the scope down and then also change the stents out. They could not get there because of the narrowing was so narrow. It was inflammation at that time is what they called it, but they did some biopsies and it's scar tissue. They said basically think of it like this. Your system looks like an hourglass. So you've got a wide opening here and you've got a wide opening here and a little bitty one in the middle where the scar tissue has just built up and built up. Some of it from the previous surgeries, but you guys were with us last year. The pancreatitis went on for a long time and it did some damage. It really did some damage. So scar tissue is built up. So what has to happen is a pretty major surgery, you guys. And forgive me, I'm gonna try my best here not to get too emotional. He will lose a small portion we're hoping, but he will lose a portion of his small intestines. They are going to have to reroute the tubes from the liver that provide liver enzymes and from the ones from the pancreas itself that provide the pancreatic enzymes. Basically, his whole enzymes are going to have to be rerouted into the new structure that they will create when they remove part of the small intestine. We're hoping that it is only going to be a small section, but they won't know that for sure until it's done. We have some issues. We have some challenges that we're going to have to work out. You guys, we need your prayers more than anything right now. If you have solutions, we're open to suggestions. But the first and foremost thing we're looking at is obviously a trip to Nashville. I will go with him. I'll have to stay with him at the hospital. I can't afford a hotel, a week at a hotel. And I'm guessing at least a week, if not more. Week to 10 days, because that's a pretty massive major surgery. But I can't afford a hotel for that. Since my unemployment's cut off, all I have is my savings. I don't have an income anymore right now. So, and my savings were going to take me for a good long while. And so anyway, so that will be, so the biggest challenge, I'll just stay at the hospital with him, like sleep in the little recliner in his room. Feeding myself will be an issue, but we'll figure that out between friends and family. I'm sure I can eat. I can go buy a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter just like I tell everybody else. If you're hungry, you'll eat what you got. And that's okay too. I can take some peanut butter and bread. And some snack cookies or fruit cups. I don't care. I will eat. I'm not going to starve. And if I did, it's not like I can't afford to lose a few pounds. But, so that is definitely one of the challenges. One of the other large challenges that we need to figure out is the care of all the animals here. We have a lot of animals now because he had done so well and was improving so much. He had increased the flocks. Most of you know we have pigs now. The pigs are challenging. They get out all the time. We get them back in, but he's not going to be able to chase them through the woods. And of course, we're going to be gone. Right now, the last few days, his father and I have been sharing the duty to feed them. And most of it, his father in the evening, and I helped in the mornings. But I was at the hospital for the afternoon feed. Well, Andy's words exactly were, until I know somebody's reliable there to feed my critters and on time, I'm not going nowhere. My critters are going to come first. Well, much as I love you, y'all know. So I'm going to have to, and I don't know how one goes about finding somebody reliable that I can pay to come over here twice a day and feed the animals. I know his father's health, he physically cannot do it on a long-term basis. There's no way. I don't have a whole lot of cash. I can probably, if I use my savings, $100 a week for a couple weeks, you know. But how do you go about, if you guys have suggestions how to find somebody, because nobody we know personally lives close enough to help. We have a lot of friends that would absolutely help in a heartbeat, but they don't live close enough to be able to do this, to feed animals twice a day, especially when I'm not here. When we get back, I'm home. I can feed them. But while we're gone, I can't. And I don't think his dad can do it much more. His dad's health is not the greatest. So that's a challenge that we have to work on. There's also the recovery time. You know, we're going to have to, how do we keep things going here? He was doing really good with the shop and really getting off the ground and selling some items, and the income was coming in, and of course that's going to have to go on hold for a little bit. There's not an option there. It's got to go on hold for a little bit, but we are going to make it work. And like I told him, I said, I have enough faith for both of us. Trust me. I believe in the power of God. I believe that God will figure out a way to make this happen. I believe you will be whole and you will be healthy. But this is a very major surgery. If he does not have it done, eventually it would kill him. His nutrition would start to suffer because he would eventually go back to the same place he was at last year, where he couldn't not keep any food down, where he couldn't absorb any nutrition. He couldn't keep nothing down. He was vomiting 24 hours a day. He was in massive pain. Eventually would go back to that. And I don't know that his system is strong enough to go through that kind of malnourishment again. It really isn't. He is extremely thin. He's gained some weight. Don't get me wrong. He's gained quite a bit of weight. He's back up to, I think, 140 pounds. But he went from wearing a size 38 down to wearing a size 28, and now he's back up to a 32. So he's gained a little bit of weight since he got out of the hospital before, but he's still severely underweight. And nutritionally, he's not going to be able to handle much more of that. So, I don't know. There are definite challenges, but that's where we're at. That's what's going on. It's a lot to figure out. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to process. This evening, he just kind of, as he said it, he's giving his mind a break, and I don't blame him. He's been in the hospital since Sunday, which let us out today. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to take in at 32 years old to be facing this major of a surgery. I don't blame him for saying he needed to just shut down for a couple hours and not do much. So he went down the street, and he's just hanging out with a couple of his guy friends, and they're just being guys. And it's okay. It's good. Tomorrow, we'll deal with it. So, but that is what's going on. What were challenges? Like I said, we are open to suggestions as far as how do you go about finding somebody reliable to feed your animals. I don't know anybody here, and as I said before, there's lots of people that would volunteer in a heartbeat if we lived right down the road, but none of us do. Not enough to come here every day. So that's where we're at. The biggest thing we need right now is prayer. The more people we have praying for him, the more I know God is listening, and the more God will step up, because he always does. Always. He will provide. And his mental state. You guys pray for his mind and his mental state, because it's a lot to process. It's a lot. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to get this update put out for y'all. My live, normally I would go live tonight on Wednesday, which is when I'm filming this. I'm actually normally live while I'm filming this. So I will try maybe tomorrow earlier in the day. If I do, I will put out a notice on Facebook. You guys watch my Facebook. I'll put one on the community page here as well. Make sure your bell is rung on here, and I will put out a note on the community page as well if I'm going to go live maybe a little earlier in the day, and try to make up for tonight. We'll see. I'll play it by ear, but for right now, I've got to go take care of my own dog and get some stuff done. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the love, the prayers, the support you guys have sent. They mean so much, just knowing that you guys care. So bye for now. I love y'all. Bye, guys.